This is Eagle Out, and today we're going to talk about Fred Johnson going to Jacksonville can possibly lead up to more comp picks. Also, Travon Walker for Dallas Goddard. We're going to talk about it. And lastly, we're going to talk about Azeez Ojulari and Nolan Smith relationship. But let's get straight into it. All right, so before we hop straight into it, I want to talk about a couple things. And first is Zack Baun. So Zack Baun was in the facility, officially signed his contract. He will be with the Eagles for a couple more years as the fourth or third highest paid linebacker in the league. He spoke about how he never wanted to hit free agency. He wanted to stay in Philadelphia because we knew if he would have hit free agency, the Raiders was trying to offer that bag. They wanted him bad. Tom Brady constantly begged him up. Tom Brady made it no secret. He wanted Zack Baun, but Zack Baun wanted to be a Philadelphia Eagle. One, he got the exposure. Two, he get the win. And three, he did get paid. Now, it wasn't to reset the market, but he definitely got paid. And to me, he made the right move. Eagles look at him as a core guy because we didn't let him go. Like the Milton Williams or the Josh Sweats or anything like that. We like, yo, we got to keep him around. He brought life to Philadelphia. And I like how Howie Roseman is approaching the offseason. Like, look, Zack Baun, you're a core piece. I don't care if you're a linebacker because we know Howie don't pay linebackers. You got to get paid. And that's exactly what Howie did. But he also bargained on his side not to break the bank as well. So shout out to Zack Baun. Another quick hit. We got to talk about these rule changes proposal. Don't want to go in too deep on the Packers because the Packers, we know they want the tush push ban, but they officially submitted a proposal. And the Packers hating, man. Out of all teams, I thought it'd be Dallas. I thought it'd be, Washington or something like that. It's the Packers. Maybe because they suck at it. Who knows? But Packers are trash for that. But I like the rule that we proposed. In a way, I see the pros and the cons. So we proposed the same rule that's in the playoffs. We proposed it for the regular season. It's the overtime rule. So the overtime rule, we know in the regular season, if Team A, let's just use Team A and Team B, if Team A get the ball and score in overtime, a touchdown, usually the game is over. But what the Eagles are proposing is that let Team B get a chance to score, and if they don't, the game is over. So the downside of that is injuries. So say for example, you have a game like that on a Sunday, but you got to turn around play like Thursday or Friday. You can cause a lot of injury, but at the same time, these regular season games can be just as important as a postseason game. Say if you're trying to get seeding, say you drop from 4th seed to 7th seed or 1st seed to 6th seed because you had an overtime game, you wasn't given a shot to score in the postseason, or hell, say if you lose a playoff spot and you miss the playoffs because it was an overtime game and teammates scored and you don't get a chance to score back. So I get it. I get what the Eagles trying to propose, but at the same time, it can cause injuries. And what if it's just one of those boring games? It's 3-3. It leads all the way to overtime. Now we got to wait for one of these teams to score. They never do. They just going back and forth, back and forth. What if one of them do score a touchdown? Now you got to dread out this long, boring game. So, again, man, it definitely has its pros and its cons, but I think it's more pros than cons. Right, so let's get into these main topics. Let's talk about Fred Johnson. So Fred Johnson was a guy no Eagles content creator or anybody talked about being on the open market, but he was. He signed a 1 year deal to 1 year deal to Jacksonville, and we got to see how much money he get to let us know what the comp pick is going to be. If we get one, it might be like a 6th rounder, but Howie Rose might get another comp pick. Now, before we talk about the comp picks, I just want to talk about Fred Johnson just a little bit. Salute to him. He started about 6 games last year because Jordan Mailata had a bad hamstring injury, and I could say for sure he held it down against the Cincinnati Bengals. We kept saying like, look, man, Just don't let Trey Henderson and none of those guys get off. He will be fine. And when we played Dallas, he struggled a bit against Michael Parsons, but he caught his foot in eventually. And you know what we did to the Dallas Cowboys? We blew them out. There was no Jordan Mailata there. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we played with Fred Johnson. He did one hell of a job on Travon Walker. He did one hell of a job. So we lose a swing tackle because we know if Lane go down or Jordan Mailata go down, you had a solid backup in Fred Johnson. Hell, we paid him the bag to be a backup. So again, man, his contribution was really, really big. And now you look at the Eagles, like, do we got that swing tackle? So this is a little big loss that, you know, a lot of people not talking about. But back to the comp picks. Now Howie Roseman possibly got 21 picks in the next 2 years. 21 picks. So Howie is cooking up something. So let's talk about it. Travon Walker, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's on the open market. It looked like he's on the trade block. And I read the report. It's basically saying teams that were like in on like the Myles Garrett and the Max Crosby, the under the radar guy was Travon Walker. Now you seen Max Crosby get his deal. We seen Myles Garrett get his deal. Now, do the Eagles put in a ticket for Travon Walker? Now, he's probably going to demand between that 35 to $40 million. And Jacksonville be crazy to pay him that because he's not the missing piece there. Now, the Eagles can get him and not pay him that, but at least you have him on a 2-year rental. And I look at it this way. Do you trade Goedert to Jacksonville? Should we trade Goedert to Jacksonville? Look, you trade Dallas Goedert, what, maybe a second round pick, third round pick to get Travon Walker. Dallas Goedert is a weapon, can make the offense better. Hell, you could pay Dallas Goedert a little something because he got no more guarantee money with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's no secret that the Philadelphia Eagles are shopping him. They're shopping him. And I will say this too. Eagles did CJ Gardner Johnson right because you could have easily traded CJ Gardner Johnson to Jacksonville and possibly got him in a pick, but one of CJ Gardner Johnson requests, like, trade me to a contender. We traded him to Houston. But you can trade Dallas Goedert to Jacksonville and get Travon Walker. I think you can. Not a straight up trade like that. We probably have to give up a pick. But we got the assets to do it. And that's why I was mentioning the comp pick. Because if we got to trade a pick or two, you still have like 19 to 20 picks. You still have 19 to 20 picks. Now, we pay him a lot of money like that? Possibly not. But he could get more exposure with the Philadelphia Eagles under Vic Fangio. Because a lot of people saying like Travon Walker is good, but he ain't no Aiden Hutchinson. Remember, he was in that draft class with Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, Stingley, and Travon Walker. Those names so big, his name get lost in that mix. But he come to Philadelphia, give us 10 plus sacks like he been doing in Jacksonville. His name all over the radar. He could get paid somewhere. Somebody be willing to offer him that. Hell, would it be us with the cap going up? Us, moving around money? Another name I didn't mention, maybe they could get Bryce Huff and Dallas Goedert because we're going to have to let some of these guys go. So maybe they can get two players and a pick. I'm just saying, we'll give the best deal. Eagles got the assets to give the best deal. It's a deep edge rushing draft class for sure, but I don't see a Travon Walker at 32. I just don't see it. So if you could get him, I'll make the call. I know Howie's going to make the call, but all depends on what they want. Do Travon Walker want an extension immediately after the trade? We don't know, but it'd be smart on both ends. You get some assets from the Philadelphia Eagles. We get some to add to this championship team. So I would like Travon Walker here. It just makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But last but certainly not least, Azeez Ojulari spoke with the media yesterday, and he spoke about Nolan Smith, and this is what he had to say.
With Bo here. Hey, Azeez, welcome to Philadelphia. Of those Georgia guys on the defense with you, is there one of them who you are particularly close with? And what is it like to be one of the Georgia guys on defense in the NFL who's not on this Eagles team? Does everybody talk about this Eagles team in a certain way?
Yeah, yeah, they always do, because we got so many Georgia guys here. And Nolan, that's my brother for real. All of them really my brother, but Nolan, since we will be in the same room, so we've been in the same room, since Georgia too. So we're probably more closer to him, but I'm still close with all of them. So we all share that brotherhood and that relationship we got is amazing. So I'm ready to be here now.
I love that as well. I definitely love that as well. These two were teammates in Georgia, another Georgia Bulldog. Hell, I didn't know they was roommates, so they are really close. I know Nolan Smith shouted him out as well. He's very happy to have Azeez Ojulari on the team. That's why I don't want to go back to the last topic, but if you have Azeez and Travon Walker and Nolan Smith, who edge rushers is one of those positions you could have a lot of guys. Hell, I think Jalen Hunt, all these guys will work in Philadelphia as edge rushers. We have a better pass rush than last year's, and we seen last year's. Last year's was great, ran by committee. I mean, man, oh man. So again, Aziz already having this relationship, and then if you bring in Travon Walker, another Bulldog, it just be Bulldog University on the defensive side of the ball. So I love to hear this type of stuff, man. The chemistry is going to be just fine, even with losing the players. I believe the chemistry will be just fine. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hey man, what do you think? How do you feel about Travon Walker for Dallas Goedert? Howie Roseman, what is he cooking up? Zach Baun spoke. And this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.